Jayden, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, and thank you so much for coming over. It's like a shitty Monday out there. It's raining, and as I
I
said, I
don't
was like,
mind rain.
yeah, I know what you mean. It's a nice little change, but I was like up super early, hey,
Yeah.
and just struggling, like so, and especially all this Corona business going on. So you just mentioned something. Let me ask about that first and foremost. You're working at a sanitizing.
Yeah, so we're a chemical company that's aiming to be environmentally sustainable.
Nice one. What do you guys got products from?
So we produce our own products, but they all get sourced. Raw material gets sourced from China.
Oh, there you go. So what's happening? Is it booming for business or is it like
It's
out
booming
of
for
business?
business, but we can't supply. So
No. Okay.
we're trying our best there to source,
Yeah.
but it's what it is, man.
Fair play. Hey, by the way, salute and thanks so much for coming along.
Cheers.
And just so for the audience here, like anyone's gonna tune in. What's your name? Where you from? And how old
Oh,
are you, etc.
so I'm Jayden, grew up down in Oatley near the Shire.
Oatley. Nice.
Yeah. And then parents split, moved out here, and
You been up in what? Are you in Bondi? Eh?
yeah, North Bondi. So,
Nice spot. How
yeah.
long? How long you been there?
Only 3 months, or 2 months now.
Oh, nice
actually.
one.
So,
Nice one. Okay. Is it a recent thing with the parents? Are they? Is that?
no. So,
Yeah.
funnily enough, I got broken up with on the 1st of January,
Right.
and
Okay.
so moved back to the parents' house,
Yeah.
and then found this house and moved out there.
Nice one,
So,
nice one. All right, well, look, thanks for getting on this podcast. As I put this last post up, right, and
yeah.
it was I've had a bunch of guests. It's all about finding love. I'm learning about what's going on out there, what people are doing. I think I wrote in the post, it's a circus out there, these days,
Yeah.
which is funny, but yeah. So I'm just kind of learning what's going on with people. I've had all these different people coming on with different stories, and so now you're telling me you've just finished a relationship. What's tell me with that. What's happened there?
So that one was a fun one for the first 6 months, I suppose, the honeymoon sort of period.
Yeah, as
And
it
then
is. Yeah.
and then we went away on a holiday, and a few weeks later found out she was pregnant.
Ooh, right.
That was in September.
Just surprised. And what? Give me some
So
more. What happened there?
so uh, so during that time, once we found out, it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks until, well, the, the abortion.
Oh,
Um,
okay, right.
so
You terminated. Yeah.
yeah, um, and in that time, I just started this new job, which was looking after 8 people as opposed to just looking after myself.
Sure. You're managing a team.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so as well as taking on that at work and transitioning there,
Yeah.
I was doing my best to be there for her when she was spewing or
Going through
whatever
that.
was going on.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Fuck, that's heavy.
yeah, and me being me, I withdrew myself pretty much into my own state of like depression,
Oh, mate. Yeah.
because I couldn't find any time for myself.
Right.
While at the same time, previous addiction of hers had come back to light as she was
Oh,
dealing with her stuff.
bro. Yeah, that's a lot of
And
heavy things coming all at once. Eh?
yeah,
How long ago was that, by the way?
that was in October actually,
Okay,
so late
it's all
September.
coming to the end of last year.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! And how did you manage, and how was it going?
Oh, mate. Alcohol, cigarettes.
Yeah,
Um,
just trying to take your mind off it a bit.
Yeah, I just drink maybe half a case a night or something like that.
Oof, good
Yeah.
lord. I hear
Yep.
ya. Okay, so and with your lady at the time, she had the termination and then was still sick for some time afterwards or something.
No, she was all right for the time afterwards,
Yeah.
but other things that, like, for example, the addiction that I didn't know about,
Mm.
that was playing a lot into it, and she, how do I put it? My words were up my
Mm.
mind.
Well, I mean, do you mind me asking what addiction? What was it?
It was gambling.
Oh,
So
right. Okay.
so she was out doing that while I was at home waiting for her so that I could be there for when she got back,
Sure,
whatever it
sure.
was,
Yep, yep, yep.
whether she was at work or not, whatever.
Oh, right, heavy. Okay.
Um,
And she was out by herself, or was
I
she with?
think so, yeah.
Okay.
Um, and so from there, she realized her own things, which was like she's not. To give a bit of context, she'd been in
Yeah.
a relationship 5 years before,
Right,
and
right.
then there was like a 3 month gap between us.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Um,
And how long were you guys together in total? Was that?
just under a year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah, I know. I hear. Okay, so you think there was obviously some stuff to deal with. There's usually a lot of
yeah.
value in having time to yourself, you know.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And so she spent most of her. Well, what I knew from 18 upwards had been in relationships, and
Yes,
so
right.
she'd never had that time to herself. And
It's a funny thing that
yeah,
hey, it's not like necessarily wrong. It's each their own, individually done, but
yeah,
it's definitely
exactly.
something that you note, huh? And you can
Yeah.
maybe make a few connections to things, right? So that's heavy. All right. And
Yeah.
what happened? How long was she gambling, and what eventuated?
About a month, I think, and what eventuated. She was going up to see her parents up in North Queensland,
Mm,
over Christmas and everything. I just said I don't want to go.
sure.
Her parents were willing to pay for me and everything. I just said "Oh, I don't want to.
What were you just by this point? Were you out of it?
I was
Lost it completely, like out
just
of love, or what would you call it?
no.
What
I
would you call
was
it?
in my heart. I was like, no, we'll fight. We'll get through this. We'll pull back together. Um, like I pretty much gave my all, in that sense,
Yeah.
to the point where it was self-sabotaging me. And so,
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. I actually understand. I've been there many times myself. It's funny that I've personally gotten a pattern sometimes, right, where say I can see the writings on the wall, the relationship's gone a way that I think this is not. It's not bloody.
yeah,
It's not good. It's not going to be good for either of us, right? We should end. But maybe in a similar way, like you possibly done, is I figure I can fix it
mm,
and give it all. I know I won't give up. I can keep going to make it work. I'm not going to
yeah,
give up on it. You know, it's almost like I'm not going to be the one that's giving up. I know I can fix it. That's how it's. I remember thinking that way a little bit in a certain
yeah,
time, and
yeah,
obviously in hindsight, it's like, Jesus, I just fucked up there, and I went too far, and we went into that like a zone which wasn't good for either of us. You know.
pretty much.
So, what is it? Something similar like that with?
Yeah, um, like I still hold her in a high regard.
Yeah.
Um, she never did anything wrong or anything like that. She just didn't needed to figure out what or who she was. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's a
completely get that.
fully personal thing, that, huh?
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
and so, but for me, as well afterwards, I can't believe how much happier and more relaxed and at peace I feel. To put it simply,
To get away from it all after it's finished, you mean?
after like the first few weeks,
Mm.
and I started realizing, oh, I have so much time to myself. There's so
Yeah,
much I can do. I'm back into surfing. I'm like
yeah.
just
Perfect.
reading and just doing things for myself, and
Brilliant, mate. Perfect.
like
You can't see how much time you're giving to someone till you're out of the relationship, huh?
yeah,
I know the exact same feeling. Once I felt it last with my ex, and we broke up, and we were in a difficult relationship as well. And I just remember, obviously, I'm giving a lot, like you must have been, and like she was too. And but for both of us, I imagine like her too. As soon as you're out of it, I remember realizing like, fuck, I've got all this time to do things to for myself.
yeah,
That's a pretty refreshing feeling, hey.
it's really good.
So what was the ultimate reason you broke up then? Like, I mean, you didn't go away with her, and then was that just it, or?
Nah, well, she'd had that time to herself over that 10 days, right? And I figure
Yeah.
she figured out some things on her own in that same time that
Or at
I
least got
needed
it
that.
started or something.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in that same time, I needed that time for myself as well.
Yeah.
And so I figure, yeah, she just realized that what am I actually doing with my life? Like, am I actually happy? Am I just not using, but like, do I just like being in relationships because it means there's someone else there
Right.
to just maybe distract me from my comfort, things like
Is
that.
this what you kind of took from it, or did she tell you some things
No, no, no.
directly? Like, did she
That's what
come
I've
back
taken.
with? Okay. Did she say what? Did she say anything directly to you about it? Because it makes sense, and I'd probably
Mm.
be assuming that too to some degree. But did she say anything in the end? Like actually,
No, I so came back, had a few beers, and then she broke up with me, and I just walked out. To put it simply,
she came back, had a
I
few beers, and just broke. Said, "I don't want to do this anymore." Like pretty
like we were out
blunt.
at the pub, and then
Yeah.
she left early. I got back. She went out for a walk, came back, and went, I don't want, like, I
Can't do it
can't do
anymore.
this. And I'm not one for needing closure or anything. I'm just like, all right, I've heard the words. That's all I need. I'm out.
I hear you. Well, it sounds like you already had a feeling about it anyhow, right? Like you could see
Yeah.
she wasn't doing things for herself, and that type of personal journey wasn't begun.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. The writing's on the wall. Like she can sit there and explain those things to you, but you get a good feel for it before that happened. So were you happy like for that to happen? Or I mean, it's hard to break up, but
No, I was still very deeply like, we'll pull back together.
yeah,
Like,
trying to get
we
it
can
done,
do
right?
it. There's a
Yeah.
way. Um, and, but at the same time, I didn't even realize it, but I was very unhappy and, yeah, self-sabotaging and
Mm.
like self-destruction. And
So you didn't know it till then, really? Well, I mean, like now you tell me you were drinking like a heap, during
mm,
those times, those heavy times at the end of the year. Even back then, you didn't realize during that period, like, fuck, I'm not doing what I should be doing for myself. You were just
no,
trying to
because I got
cope.
so caught up in my
Yeah,
own headspace,
true.
and I'm just like, this is what it is. This is, I'm gonna fight and keep going.
Mm,
And
mm.
pick myself up every day, even if that means pick myself up every day to pick her up, or
I
do
hear
what
you.
I do. And in hindsight, am so much stronger in myself knowing I can do that. But now I have no, I don't have to pick up anyone else. Like,
Well, yeah, it's just all you, as you said,
yeah,
going surfing, getting back to do things that make you happy and feel like you.
yeah,
100%. Hey, that's it. That's like a common thing you hear from all these things when someone's either or both are just investing so much to make it work, the
as
relationship.
opposed to just enjoying.
Yeah, you don't get any time to do it yourself. So you see those happy couples that are like kind of so free in themselves. That's like something you look at and think they're doing
Yeah,
something perfect.
yeah.
Right, but yeah, that's heavy as fuck, man. Jayden, sorry to hear. And so what's that? Only a couple of months before. How's the aftermath now? Like you mentioned going
Oh,
surfing back and all that, but what's
I'm surfing, reading. Um, so I felt in that period that I'd lost a few friends as well. I didn't have many friends out east, and then that caused a bit of a split.
right?
And so in that, I was trying too hard to see them. That's what I felt. Um, and so from that, I pretty much withdrew back and just went, just tried to surround myself with like positive stuff, whether it's like those inspirational Facebook memes or
Yeah,
whatever.
like quotes and affirmations and all that
Yeah,
good stuff. That yeah,
yeah, and just
nice one.
got my board fixed and just in the evenings just went surfing.
Bro, well done. That's literally the perfect thing, the exact thing you needed to do. And hopefully, I don't know, are you
Yeah.
still in touch with your ex at all, or is it kind of just
Um,
cut clear and
there was a bit of an
need some space? Or
aftermath issue in those first few weeks. So we were taking the time apart with the intention, because neither of us had done anything wrong, with the intention to go back to being really good friends,
see what happens in the
which,
future. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I'm completely fine with,
Hmm.
because she's an important person in my life.
Nice, yeah.
But like, I can completely understand like the differences and everything that went on,
Giving yourself some
and
time. It sounds
put
like
it
it.
back in the past.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and so with this aftermath, have you got back in touch yet? Or is anything...
yeah, so I still have, well, there were clothes that were still left at the house and things like that.
Yeah, sure.
So I had to pick up those. And then, so her mates gave her a car, but she didn't have a license, so that's in my name. And then,
Right.
so at some point when she gets a license, that's gonna go back to her. And so
Yeah,
there's
okay.
still like that.
Some connection to. Okay, right. And how are you? Well, what do I think? Like, because I've been in similar positions. Obviously, and when you just break up and you're still thinking, I've accepted what's going on. Like to still be friends. I have a lot of respect, and all
Yeah,
that. Um, are you still wanting to be in touch, or are you kind of a little bit more like, no, my own time now is everything, and
it's 50-50.
yeah,
Maybe
okay,
down the track, but I'm not going to force anything or like go out of my way yet to be like, hey,
that's it, mate.
do you
Like
want to get a
honestly,
coffee?
like I've
That's all
been
right.
in similar positions, and it's always like the more you do for your, well, not always, but what I've found that helped me is the more you do for yourself, for example, the more you realize what's going on in the past. It helped, it
Yeah.
had its reason, its place, or whatever.
Oh,
But
I can't tell you a tremendous growth, of, man.
well, it sounds like it, bro. Drinking all that much, that was a heavy place to be in. That's a dark place to be in, and it's good that you're actually out of that thing. But it's like a blessing in disguise to
Yeah.
get out of something that's like potentially unfixable. Definitely stupidly hard, and the list goes on with difficulties on it.
Yeah.
It's easy to see from the outside. It's like that old saying:
Yeah.
you can see the splinter in someone's eye, but not the log in your own, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well then, so what are we now? A couple of months on since that.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're on the up, doing better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
nice one. And there's no contact or anything like going on, like social medias and stuff, or
Um, nah, still on Instagram and stuff, but
but you're not like messaging or anything.
nah, no. Um,
Are you guys still connected on like Instagram and things?
yeah,
All right, that's interesting. 'Cause normally these days, especially,
it's a block and
yeah, it's just a bit of safety, peace of mind. It goes in line with giving time to yourself. Sounds like a harsh thing to do, which initially I used to think, oh, that's fucking
yeah.
harsh, but it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. When someone's just trying to put
Mm.
energy into, let's say, for example, you purely doing things for yourself without a
Back of
little,
your mind.
yeah, a little thing in the back of your mind there. It's good to have that out of your sight, kind of
I
thing.
had that for a few weeks, and then I don't know, something just changed. I went,
All right, but does it feel like any drama when you see it? Like, sometimes you
nah,
see like your ex and you're just thinking like, fuck, it brings back, that
no.
type.
I've got all those memories. They're all in the past, but
Yeah,
they're what they were, and they helped me in a sense to grow. And so whatever's going on now is going on now, and
yeah, man.
it's
Well, mate, it sounds like you're doing well because so many people spend
oh
so long trying to get over a breakup, and it could even be a short relationship, as intense it could be. But when you're in love, you're in love, and when that's taken away, like fuck. I mean, we've all been there. We
mm.
all know how fucking hard it is. Like, so, mate, you sound like you're doing it very well. Is there what anything that's been working in this aftermath for you after this breakup in particular that stands out as in like, hey, no, this is makes me sure about what I'm doing. Anything like that.
What I'm doing like personal wise, work wise,
Away
or
from the relationship, like me being
oh
Jade for Jayden in a sense. Like,
I've always enjoyed like I haven't necessarily done it, but like reading and understanding like introverts, extroverts, all that sort of stuff.
yes,
Because normally I'm quite, depending on the situation, I can adapt because I've just been in so many.
different groups and
But it
whatnot.
depends if I care to or not.
Hmm.
Um,
What would you say you are, out of
oh,
curiosity?
introvert, man.
Yeah,
Introvert.
deep thinker. You do a lot more on your own that way.
Yeah, I'll go out with friends, and if the conversation gets boring, I'll just sit there and just drink, like,
Yeah,
and just
it's kind of not engaged in that convo.
yeah, the turn into boring conversations. I just went like,
It's such a big deal to be around the people that are on the similar level to you,
mm,
right? That can actually think inward and deeply. Those thoughts that you don't really have those topical or typical conversations about coronavirus, blah blah, and all that, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like it makes
yeah,
a big difference. Like it's not yeah, it's not like that. I'm sure you realize when you just tune out of a conversation, you get a bit bored with it. Eh? Like
yeah,
yeah, okay, so introverted. So you've been learning all that stuff, or what's
yeah.
yeah, you mentioned a book.
So
What was that about? What are you looking into?
the book's called the highly sensitive person.
Right.
It's
Who's that by?
Elaine Courtney, maybe, or
Elaine
some
Courtney? Nice. Well,
something
I
like
think
that.
I've heard of it. And what's it about? What's...
It's basically, I think it's about 20% of the population, but basically,
Yeah.
it's those sort of people that take in their surroundings deeply as opposed to just like going.
Superficially. Yeah.
The sort of people that will just be walking past and notice, like, I don't know, for example, raindrop on like a leaf and just,
Yeah.
I don't know, appreciate
And
that little thing.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's a deep mind like that,
yeah,
isn't it? Right. Rather than the happy-go-lucky, the bit more...
yeah.
I see what you mean. So you've always been that way.
Yeah. I assume it's what my personality has
Yeah.
been. Quiet, but I can be social when I want to. But when I don't get that time to myself, it definitely goes down a
Drains
different
you, eh?
path.
Drains you.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. All right. And what about is this like well, reading this book? Is it helping you in like your aftermath in some sense, or...
um, Nah, I'd say I've already kind of processed and
Yeah.
dealt with the aftermath. It's more like just for me.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
just like,
Going on discovering more a bit about how you would operate too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it would describe about introverts and what how they operate to a degree, or it's
yeah.
nice.
Like exactly, it's usually associated with the more introverted person. But it's also about like coping with it in the world when like you process things so deeply that like you need to take that time
Mm.
to kind of just get up and like or get through work or in that sort of sense, or find different ways to appreciate and enjoy work when it's a
Yeah.
busy like loud environment.
Is
But
that the same type of people that they would go through something, then spend a lot of time on their own, like reflecting on what happened? Like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
okay, nice one. And then, all right. Also, then learning about this stuff. I mean, that's probably pretty cool. Is there anything that you connect with other people with it? Like you starting to see more people at work in that manner, or...
um Not necessarily. I don't. I've definitely connected with some friends who I didn't know were kind of like more like
those
that
intro?
since,
Yeah,
um, because people just like to put on like a,
their face of
a
how they
face.
should be acting. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the persona in a Carl Jungian terms. It's the persona, the personality you think you should portray to the world is, but
yeah,
it's not everything. You're deeper. The ego is more. Your introverted thoughts that maybe you'd never share. There's more to you, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, so I can see why obviously that would have hit you so hard then, all the hard business from last year. All that stuff would have made you fucking sit there needing a lot of time to process,
Oh
I
yeah,
imagine. Yeah. Well, by the way, that's another point of interest. Like with when you got drinking so much, and that probably went to your deepest parts or darkest parts. How did you like kind of get through all that stuff? Because I mean, you were juggling with the girl that was going through her issue and everything, and then not having enough time to yourself and all that, to going into a
yeah.
dark place and just drinking to try to maybe just feel
Get
all
that.
right for some reason. But like, how did you push through it? Like, is there anything that did that?
It's literally just get up and do it. Like, there's no way around
Just
it.
will.
You just have to get up and do it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just keep going.
Well, mate,
There'll
well
always
done.
be better times. So
Okay,
to
well
put it
well
simply
that's
like that.
yeah,
So
well that's a strong mind you have, bro. Because I mean, I've been around and dealt with a lot of people, and I've had friends with like depression, dark places, and whatnot. You name it, and it's also individual. So there's no formula for it, but it's
it's
interesting to hear how you approached it and your view on it. Just keep going through it,
well,
like it's...
on those days you can't change it. Accept it. You can, although what did click with me one day though that picked me up.
Yeah,
I was there. Yeah, I was a few beers in, but it clicked with me. Why am I just pitying myself? Like,
yeah,
yes, this is what it is right now, but yes, I can still basically reset the way I was looking at it.
mm,
It just sometimes with me things just click, and they take ages to click. But when they
Yeah.
do, it's just like an instant, like, flip, and it's just like, oh, shit, I can choose to get up to go to work tomorrow and be like depressed and let the team feel that, and then
Yep.
they won't do anything. Or I can choose to get up, get on, and just be simple and let it be happy for what it is in that sort of
Yeah.
sense, you know.
Very good. Well, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to hear, bro. That's huge.
So
It's because it's that what you said sounds simple, right? But it's so hard to
It's-
come to that decision from what I hear from people telling me that are in these dark
Yeah.
spots. It's like everyone's idea of happiness is like here, but if you're in a place that's down here, you can't just choose to be up there.
yeah,
But you can choose to be happier than that little spot down there. You know, like just at whatever position you're in, or world surrounding, or
yeah,
mentally dark place you're in, you can choose to be make the
Yeah.
best of that situation, which
exactly.
is relative. Yeah.
It's like I accept what's going on,
Mm.
but I can still choose how I feel, or like look at it.
Nice one, bro.
That's-
Did you ever like chat to anyone, like any pros or anything? Because by the way, I'm such a big advocate. I've had all these people on this podcast, and actually had some experts, like
Yeah.
people that help people out in dark times or personal development, all sorts of stuff. Like, and it just feels to me, the more I'm learning and talking to hearing people's stories, it's so common and it's so effective, and it's not like, you know, it still has that old stigma of
Oh yeah,
when you're in the darkest place, go see a psychologist. But there's actually a whole range of people in between a psychologist and your mate, you know, like
yeah.
of professionals like coaches that just talk to you about simple little tools and things. And
All those like high performance habits and atomic habits and things
yeah,
like that.
right. Yeah. Did
Like,
you ever like talk to anyone like with that in that realm, or
I spoke to one person for an hour.
what kind of person was that? Like?
Just psychologist, like,
Nice one.
just did it through work, just spoke to her, but at the time, I just found it draining to kind of even talk about, because I was surrounded by it. I just didn't want to. So it was like,
Sounds like a rational option to use that could help, but you're not ready.
But
It
it
wasn't the
wasn't-
right time. Yeah.
yeah,
That's the thing with it. Hey, well, for one, they always say you can't help anyone that doesn't want help, right? So even no matter what position someone's in, yes, a psychologist could help them, but if they're not wanting it
Yeah.
right then, it's not going to help. Kind
Yeah.
of thing. So,
but I mean, I didn't know if it would help or not, but found out. So
yeah, nice one.
just try
Okay.
things.
What about any books in that realm with like those
Um,
active habits or whatever you mentioned, like
Oh.
anything like that you come across?
I haven't actually read any, but my mate talks about it. He listens to like podcasts on the way home and stuff like that.
Mate, there's so many out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, funnily enough, yeah.
Here we are, just having a beer, having a chat on one. Nice.
Yeah, and he told me about this. Well, I haven't read it or bought it or anything yet, but this book called Atomic Habits, and basically, it's the little things, making it easier in your environment to move into those better habits. You know, like, say you have, I don't know, 2 or 3 coffees or whatever a day at work, or
Sure,
whatever
yeah.
you do.
Yep.
Maybe instead of having like a coffee cup there, or have a bottle of water next to it, and like, you know, because
You
that's
add
in
to
ease
it.
of reach,
Yes.
uh,
I hear.
as opposed to, yeah.
So you can add to your own habits, making them more like valuable or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. Okay.
Those
Shit,
sort
there's
of
so
things,
much good
but-
info out there.
Yeah.
It's just that it takes a bit of time to go out and do it, but very well worth it, all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice one. Well, mate, that's brilliant. You sound like you're
So-
starting to progress through the dark times alone,
Yeah.
which is a feat in itself.
I'm
but
not
then,
the sort of person to like normally just sit back and mourn, I guess.
Mm,
The sort of person to go, that's what it is. Yes. And yes, only time will make it better right now.
yeah.
Not necessarily right now, but like a month or 2 ago. And so all I can do is just do what I need to do for me. Right.
Yeah, nice one. All right. Well, you've got a resilient mind about it. It's bloody good, mate. I'm happy to hear. What are most of your mates back down Oatley, or what have you got?
They're all spread out now, so I got
'Cause
something.
you're a newbie, really, up this way in
I've been living in Bondi for years. So we lived up at
Oh,
the
sorry.
junction, and then
Okay, yeah.
lived here before that,
Oh, true.
on Glorias, and then
Oh, nice one.
yeah, so
You know the ropes all around.
a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's a place you can definitely go out for beers quite often, which isn't the most helpful thing, you know.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Nah.
All right. Okay. So then, what about like these days now with that seems like quite a big a big episode to get over. Is there are you back looking? Like, are you back feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
you open to any relationships now? Are you seeing anyone? Like,
No.
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 But you're open
Um,
now these days, or?
yeah, I'm open, free flowing, but in the past, a lot of things I've done is basically falling into a relationship, being too much like, yeah, look, I'm enjoying the moment, sure, why not? And so I've learnt that, and so it'll take its time to like progress into that, but I'm open.
Sure.
So
Mate, it's always the way, isn't it? It's too easy to fall into something that's
yeah,
convenient or comfortable, easy, you name it.
when I was younger, it used to be a lot of, oh, I'm hungover, I don't want to deal with it right now. And she's like, what are we? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a real young play. That one. Definitely not the way to go, is it?
No.
All right, Jayden. Yeah. So, but is there anyone now that you've been in touch with? Are you on dating apps, or what's the
Oh, yeah.
what's the updated sitch now?
The standard
All the apps,
Tinder.
all of them. Yeah,
Just take-
Hinge, Bumble, all those ones.
Yeah, nothing comes from them, but, a bit of fun. So,
Why? What do you think about them anyway? Like, is it because there's all these weird.
I think, from what I see on Tinder, a lot of it is just people trying to boost their Instagram.
Yeah, that's for
It's a
sure.
bit of a waste.
Yeah. Bit of attention grabbing on that thing, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, Tinder's a bit of a flop. Well, then, what about anything else? Have you actually been on any, after this relationship, have you been out on any dates or seen any kind of cool chicks? Or?
Nah, I actually haven't done anything. A lot of it's been time for me, and then now I'm slowly like getting back out there.
Well, that's
see what else.
that's
out
it.
there.
That's it, mate. And it's cliche, I guess, but everyone would say definitely time for you overrules any time that you could give for someone else, especially in the aftermath of coming of such drama. Like you even saw with your ex that was like 3 months out of a huge long relationship. Even I mean, each their own, but
We were enjoying the moment. That's what it was.
and just went on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a big flag for everyone. If you're just enjoying the moment, maybe there's a little more to the whole picture than just going on that one, because I've been guilty of that too. I'm a lot better with it these days. But I know what you mean by enjoying the moment and then going with the flow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you say you're even looking or wanting a relationship?
No.
Like
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
If it doesn't,
true.
it doesn't.
Yeah, nice one.
Easy.
Nice one. And so what's on the plans for the year?
For the year?
Yeah, you got any things coming up or travel or something you want to...
I'll be going down to Thredbo in the winter at some point, and then
Brilliant.
over to America in September. So it'll be good fun.
Nice one.
Other than that, work, maybe find a job that pays a bit more, but that's just everyone's looking for that.
Everyone's doing that. Nice one.
Got some.
So
Start a site for writing about mindfulness and those sort of.
Brilliant. What is that, like a website? You're gonna do a blog or something? Or?
Yeah. So
Nice
it's gonna be a blog. It's called Average Millennial, and it's
brilliant.
It's not open yet. It's aiming for about June, but it's gonna be mindfulness in pretty much in a world where everything's just hectic.
Well, so I wanted to ask about that too. Maybe you can give me some insight there. When you were mentioning before, like that book you're reading and all that, and it explains like people maybe like yourself that have, that more sensitive or deeper feels when it comes to just the environment around them, like droplets on a leaf or something around you can spend time thinking of deeply and things like that. Give me an example, for example, what a time like that just happened recently where I was just deep in thought about something which maybe no one else is paying attention to or something like that.
I got a absolute perfect one, and it was a moment in this aftermath that it was one of those clicks, basically.
Right.
So I was taking myself on some road trips down through Kangaroo Valley, Wentworth Falls, the Grand Pacific Drive, like Seacliff Bridge and everything.
Beautiful.
Just spent a day, took my time driving through the national park, Bundina down to Kiama, and then just drove back.
Good area, huh?
Absolutely gorgeous, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was sitting there. I'd pulled up to that first stop after you come out of the national park, where you're overlooking
When you
the
go
Seacliff.
south.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 Another one. What's it called?
It's got that cafe and stuff.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Great spot.
It's beautiful, man. And I was just chilling out, and when I sat like near the edge and was just looking out, appreciating like the surfers that were going on down there. Just the beauty of the bridge, the clouds, like it was just the ocean.
Right.
Just appreciating what it was, and something clicked in me, and well, I started like tearing up basically and crying.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, I was actually so happy because that had been inside me for like, but couldn't find its way out.
Yeah.
Had finally found its way out, and that click was just forgiving myself for everything.
Letting yourself be out there and realize what's around you and connecting with it as you should.
Yeah, I was surrounded by happy families, happy couples, a couple people playing guitar, and in that moment, I was just.
And then you,
like,
just you.
Yeah.
Without any other dramas around, I guess.
Yeah, and it was just like, it's okay.
Yeah, bro, that's huge. That's a special moment. That's a huge moment. Feels like maybe, well, it sounds like that's maybe one of the only appearances you made yourself, real self, in a long time, kind of thing.
Yeah, because I've always loved road trips and just exploring places and.
Mate, the nature brings it out to you, doesn't it? Like we all know it. As soon as you go for a trip camping or you go for a bushwalk, as if you're lucky enough to get away. Go for a drive, you just feel that much more. It centers you. You've got no choice. It brings out there's no mask anymore. It's like, it's you. Mate, that's brilliant. Well, there's all the content you want to put on your blog. I mean, there's so many people like that too. Usually, these ones are deep in photography or videography. Have you ever done anything like that?
Nah, I'm doing. So I have this. On that same note, I started this site called Instagram page called Weekend Escape Artist.
Nice.
Good
name.
Yeah, that's it.
Was it with the dot or anything, or was it just? What is the handle?
Weekend.escape.artist.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And so I started that, and it's just got a few of those road trip pictures. It's a bit of honesty. So if I'll take a photo in that moment. Like, for example, there is a photo up there of that moment.
Brilliant.
And just like a paragraph of that moment. And it's just, the point of it is just pure honesty, and here I am, like.
Yep, taking in and describing those moments and feelings.
Yeah, and then also finding different ways to go explore different places in Australia, because it's such a vast country of beauty and imagination that
so much to see.
Why not figure out how to do it on a weekend instead of waiting for those 10 days or 5 days off work? Right.
Beautiful.
Simple as that.
Is that what you've been doing, like your last couple of weekends, things like that, or?
Not the last weekend, but the weekend before that went down to Bateman's Bay. Thought because of the bushfires, and they've lost all their tourism and everything, we'd go down, have some dinner and a few beers and relax, and just put some money back into their local economy.
Nice one, bro.
So
well done.
Did that, and then that's that one, and we stopped off at like Jarvis Bay, Seacliff Bridge, and all that area again.
So nice. Oh
mate,
I'm such a fan too. Yeah. South Coast is amazing. South Coast of Sydney, if anyone's listening, get down there. It's just gets you in touch, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Have you been there's a secret-ish sort of walk/climb up onto the top of the cliffs that overlook the Seacliff Bridge. So
I don't think I went there.
No, you'll have to check it out. So once you cross the bridge, park up, and there's this little like pavement of road on the side on not on the ocean side, on like the mountain side.
Yep, yep.
And in there is like, you kind of have to duck under, but a few branches and stuff. But you go in there, and then there's a walk, and some of the parts have a hose to pull you up. Like,
Really?
so
Like it's that steep. Like,
yeah,
it's a big mountain. Like,
but it's so worth it at the top because you're just sitting at the top on this cliff that's just overlooking the Sea Cliff Bridge,
mad.
ocean, everything.
Wow, it's beautiful.
And
Have you got a decent camera, or what do you got?
Just my phone.
Mate,
So.
you got to invest in a good camera. You know, there's probably some, or if there isn't, you should start a group on this. Maybe even Bondi Local Loop or whatever for these view specialists and, you know, like masters of experience in that sense, where there's people that want to go and get in those deep zones with that natural spot, that view. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's heaps, man. There's heaps. I know my sister's got a good camera. She's always looking for good spots. And
Oh wow.
but yeah, you should jump on that and try and find a few people that are in that zone.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it's so brutal. That's why everyone just like appreciates it from afar on Instagram. But the people that get there are the ones that are yeah, right. They're absorbing it all.
It's gorgeous, man.
Nice one,
Yeah.
bro. Well, in that way, I
That's
think
that.
yeah, I'll leave it as that, bro. It sounds
Yeah.
like you've come through with shining colours at the end of a bit of a long path there, bro. And I'm happy to hear.
Yeah.
What about anything else with that whole chapter? Seems like it's all behind you. I mean, you've got the car to give over and things like that. But is
Yeah.
there any now you're doing these things and doing this blog? I mean, there's so much things you're looking at, which is amazing. What is there anything about the relationship still that that you think of, or something that you value the way you got out of there, or
What I value is the strength I realised in myself.
yeah,
What I do wonder sometimes is, will we be mates again or not?
yeah, true.
But there's nothing you can do about it. You can just kind of leave it, and later on down the track, right? Like there's a good reason she has pulled away from being mates, and I completely understand.
Yeah, man.
So-
Well, I think it's like yourself. Like, you're in this path doing these things for yourself, and it's hard to do that, and it's harder for some others, you know. So,
Yeah,
from what I can tell, a lot of people that I've spoken to needed to block and do everything they can to like, almost delete that person from their life, just so they can give themselves time to actually start to do things what you're probably doing. And I mean, you've got a pretty resilient mind. It sounds like you're just, that's it, I'm going for it, and you see the beauty in it right now. So, but some people find it, they take ages to get there, you know.
yeah. One of my mates, like, she said it took her like a year. I was like,
Yeah, man. That's
whoa,
not uncommon. Yeah.
that's a long time in your life. To
I- And look, I don't know if it's a generalization, but I have, from my experience speaking to a whole bunch of people, more girls than guys I know have spent more time in the aftermath, going through it to get back on their feet, like maybe a longer period or something, you know. And I'm not just talking about getting back and hooking up with someone. I mean, like, actually just really getting back to themselves. That can take ages, you know. Like, fuck. Love's a fucking bastard of a thing sometimes. Eh?
Sometimes.
All right, well, then there you go. Strengthen that. That's good, man. Because like, I've been in that position. There's so many people in that position have been or going through it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know. But it takes a lot of I don't know, courage to go and do that shit for yourself. And I think in your case, the more time you give, the better. Sounds like you just got the tip of the iceberg out, you know. Like, and it's,
just getting there.
yeah, exactly. So it's good to see, bro.
Start the year at rock bottom, get back up.
Well, that's one thing about being at like rock bottom, so to speak, like coming from a breakup. It's a surefire way to give yourself like motivation to zoom up, eh? So you literally are feeling the lowest you can. You're like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
we gotta get there. Oh, mate, Jayden, you're a legend. Look, appreciate it. Thanks for the story and coming on.
Thank you.
Pleasure.